Hi guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guy. Thanks very much for joining me today. As you can see here, I've got a review of a marker storage system. Now, if you cast your mind back about a year ago, I'd done a review of a color pencil storage system, which is pretty similar to the one I'm showing you here. In fact, it's by the same company, Robax Engineering. Um, when I done the color pencil storage system, there was a few people were bringing up points that things like dust and stuff like that might be a factor in it. And in all honesty, I've had the color pencil storage system now for, like I say, about a year. I've had two of them, and there is a little bit of dust that gathers up on them, but it's easily remedied. You just blow some compressed air on it, or just get one of those duster things and lightly dust over it and stuff. And if you're using your pencils regularly, it's not going to be that big of an issue in any case. But I know some people have other preferences of storage systems for the dust reasons, but it's good to have that choice and selection and stuff like that as well. So anyway, Robax have brought out this marker storage system now, which is, like I say, it's almost identical in terms of how it looks and what have you to the color pencils. Obviously, you don't get as many pencils going along as you would do with the markers. In fact, it's 17 markers that you get in that you can fit in one platform. But the really good thing about these systems is that the footprint on your desk or something like that, or wherever it is that you're putting it in your studio, is relatively small. It's I think it's just over 11 inches widthwise by 12 inches lengthwise. So it's and then obviously you're stacking up. Now I'll be showing you some images here because it's really difficult. It's really clumsy to start moving this around and turning it around, let you see. So I've taken some photographs, but as you can see here, the bottom plinth is the platform that they rest on. There is two like pillars that are at the back of it that allow you to be able to stack the platforms upwards without it toppling over. Now, like I say, you can get about 7 or 8 platforms on this before it starts wobbling, and it will become off balanced, and the pencils or markers in this case will topple off. But as you can see, they have these kind of like little dimple things here, which allow you to be able to stack more platforms on top of each other. And when you do that, as you can see here in the images, there is still a gap, which obviously there has to be, so that when you are removing the markers from the platform down below, there's not going to be any sticking issue or anything like that. Now, I'm going to show you various different markers here because it doesn't work that well with all markers. So as you can see here with the Copic Chow markers that I have here, they fit in there perfectly. And Robax have been very, very clever actually, because they've brought out 2 different types of platforms. So they have this one here, which has this edge at the back of it for shorter type markers, for exactly like the Copic Chow and even the Copic Sketch as well, because they're relatively short in comparison to some of the markers that are out there. Unfortunately, as you can see with the Sketch, they don't sit in this rest as easy as like the Copic Chow. But it's all about obviously being able to read the codes on the lids and stuff like that. You want to have that easy. But even if you are putting them down on their side, they still fit into it. It's just not as snug as what like a round barreled marker would do. So that being said, let me kind of move this over to the side and get the other one. So as you can see here, with this one here, let me just move these 2 markers out of the way. With this one here, there's no ledge at the back. So this is for longer markers. Now, as you can see here, the Winsor & Newton brush markers, they're not necessarily longer than the Copic Chow, but when they rest in there, they don't have as much protruding out. So in other words, if I put a plinth on top of that, let me put this one on. You can see that the markers above it are protruding out further than the markers below it. And that's simply because this plinth here, this platform here, is specifically for longer type markers. I'm guessing that they had markers such as like the chameleon markers in mind when they were coming up with this one, because the chameleon markers are really, really quite long, and they're going to need a much longer platform for them to have a little bit of give coming out. So, as I mentioned about the Copic sketch, they didn't really rest in place in there too well, but it still works. Even when you put the platform on top, the sketch markers underneath, they protrude out fine, and they can be removed in and out fine as well. I've got some style file markers. Now, style file have their own stacking system that you can purchase from them, but if you don't have that and you use this one, these markers fit in here perfect as well, absolutely perfect, both in the long one and in the one with the ledge at the back. Unfortunately, however, the Spectrum Noir Illustrator and graphic markers, they don't sit in quite as well. In fact, actually, they're just not very good for this system at all. And the reasons why are, as you can see here, with it being like a hexagonal barrel, there's just no way of placing it in. Let me try and get this up so you can have a better look at it. Again, I've got some images here showing you, but you can see there that there's a gap in the V, and but more importantly, when you put say you're obviously gonna, if you have a lot of markers from Spectrum Noir and you use this system, you're gonna want to have them on top. But again, that doesn't work because they touch whichever way you put the Spectrum Noir marker in there, it's touching the top plinth. Now you can still lift them in and out and all the rest of it. It's not that big of a deal, but there is movement because it is touching the platform. So although you could get away with it, it's not going to be ideal with the Spectrum Noir markers. They're just a bigger barrel. It's just their shape and stuff like that just doesn't suit this particular type of system. This particular type of system is more suited, personally speaking, to round barreled markers. I don't have any touch markers or anything like that to be able to demonstrate with you. The only ones I have are the Copic Sketch, Copic Chow, the Winsor & Newton brush markers, and the Spectrum Noir Illustrator and graphic markers. And so that's really it. I think it's a really good idea the way they've done two variations on this system. So they have the sorry, just let me, because I can notice there that it's not focusing in. So I think it's really good that they've done the two separate systems, one for the longer barreled markers like the chameleon markers, and then the other ones for shorter barrel markers like the Copic Chow and Sketch and the Winsor & Newton brush markers, those types of markers. But that's really about it, guys. Like the color pencil one that Robax brought out, I think they're great systems. It just means that your markers are sat out on your desk. They're really easy to get hold of and stuff like that. There's no messing about. You can lift the colors that you want straight off the platform and then just place them back in. There's no getting in and out of different things and what have you. It's a relatively straightforward and simple system. There is the dust element of it, but that's relatively easily remedied. It's not too big of a problem. But if you do obviously suffer with asthma or anything like that, then perhaps this isn't going to be the type of system for you for that reason, for the dust reason. if you need to be in an environment where it's 90% dust free, this wouldn't really work well for you. Like I say, I will have prices over on the Art Gear Guide and the full dimensions of the platforms. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this review. Don't forget you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. The links for that will be down below. Go across to the Art Gear Guide. Like I said, there'll be prices and what have you, a little bit more information on these systems. Anyway, guys, thanks very much. Bye.